While we're setting up a last second for this next run, I did want to let you know there are 3 prize tiers. Any donation gets you into the tier 1, a minimum $20 donation like the last one that came in. Cumulative throughout the marathon gets you to tier 2, and tier 3 prizes are for a minimum $50 donation, cumulative through the marathon. And it looks like I am joined by SpriteGuard now.
All right, hi. I'm SpriteGuard, and this is Dusk by developer Sophie Holden. This is a nice little minimalist Metroidvania, and I only have 6 minutes here, so 3, 2, 1, let's rock. So this is a game that was originally made for the Pico 8. I'm playing the HD remake, which if you're familiar with the Pico 8, you can see that this is very HD. The Pico 8 has a very low resolution. This is a game where there's as little as you need to have a really compelling Metroidvania, and it's one of those games that I have kept running just because it is such a compelling experience and I just want to spend more time in its world. The main things that you're going to see me doing is I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff to try and preserve momentum, to skip little tiny like staircase things, avoid bonking my knees. Just little optimizations. Like here we're going to skip one step. There we go. And it's all tiny stuff like that. If this was any percent, there would be a little bit more complicated routing. But overall, this is a very simple game. There I landed a little bit to the right of the bucket so that I would be moving at full speed. Here I'm going to do a pretty tricky jump. Got it. Okay. I fail that jump a lot. We're going to head up here. We now have the first keystone. We're going to get 2 keystones. And we're going to... I always forget to do that jump. I am so glad I did that jump. We're going to light 2 torches, and that's going to be the goal of the game. So we're now going to come over here. I slow down a little bit so that I don't bonk that pillar. Now there's a frame-perfect jump here. Got it! Yes, that saves like a quarter of a second. Okay, we have time for 1 donation.
It looks like we don't have any in the moment, but remember, we do have bid wars coming up, so get them in shortly. The next 2 runs are both pretty short.
All right, so this cutscene is just going to tell us the tiniest bit, give us a little atmosphere. Now we can set ourselves on fire. Momentum preserving jump, didn't quite get it. It's possible to go straight into that door. Here's another stair skip. Got it. Now we're going to light this torch. So fire lets us walk through fire, but not through water. It's possible to do that a little bit more smoothly. Everything in this game is just these tiny little optimizations. So now we can go over here through this fire that was blocking our way, and we're going to come up here. We're going to do another bucket puzzle. And these buckets, if you fill them with water, they're heavy enough to push down the switches, but they leak. And so a lot of the puzzles involve that in some way. So this guy will zap us if we're standing up under him. We move slower when we're crouching. And so the goal there is to crouch as little as possible to save time. Now we have the Eastern Keystone. And so the story is basically that we feel compelled to come here, we see the tablet, it looks familiar, and that's about it. So here, this is the reason that I run 100%, and the reason that nobody else does. We have to do the East Temple platforming, which is the hardest platforming in the game. Here is one glitch. Okay, so the way that works is you can walk through spikes just fine. They're like Spelunky spikes, but you can't land on them. And so what I do is I clip into the corner there to convince the game that I was actually walking the whole time. And we're going to do it again here. And this platforming, I think even the developer said that they weren't a fan of this platforming, but I love it It feels really good in the hands. It has a great tactile feel. Here's another skip that I missed. And now we're just going to light this torch, and we are almost to the end of the game. We're just going to drop down through some areas that we've been before. That is almost nailed that. I routed that jump in like yesterday. We're going to drop down and go to the right, and that will be time. 3, 2, 1, time. So that is Dusk Child. It is a really fun, simple, easy run that I really recommend. It's a nice cooldown run if you're running something that makes you salty, but there's a ton of room for these little tiny optimizations.
Yeah, GG's on that 4 minutes and 43 seconds, it looks like was the
Whew.
time.
All right, that's good. My PB is 4:37, so that was really good.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like a good run to grind out, a little bit. Doesn't take too long. Very charming.
Okay. Yeah, can do that.